Congratulations on yet another filming location. I'm sorry if I look super, uber, duper raggedy. Bitch, I'm going through it, okay? But welcome back to today's story time. Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, I'm Jordan. I do story times, other shit if I feel like it. I try to post regularly enough. I do have a life, and it gets a little horrible at times. But yeah, welcome back to today's story time. I don't know if I told this story before. I'm pretty sure I didn't. I've thought about telling it before, but I just was like, well, how do I like construct it? Like, how do I construct this into a story time? But this is, and it's over periods of time. This is a story about how I found out my best friend secretly hated me. Or more so out loud, hated me. Like, this bitch did not like me, and she was my best friend for like 4 fucking years. Now, I won't say all of us haven't ever done some shit that our friend would be like, that bitch is fake, like, or like, da-da-da-da. Because personally, I know I have. But this was just uncalled for, in my opinion. I didn't see it coming, personally. But, okay. So, I gotta give this girl a name. We'll call her Selena. So, I met Selena when I was in 9th grade, and it was because we played basketball together. Now, was I good at basketball? Fuck no. But, you know what? I just wanted to get my PE credit out the way. So I didn't have to take PE the next year. So this was in 9th grade. Met her playing basketball. At first, we didn't like hit it off or click. Like, she was just on my basketball team. It was just one day when we were on the bus on the way to a game, we started talking about Tyler, the Creator. And she was like, oh yeah, I like Tyler, the Creator. And I was like, oh yeah, I like a few of his songs, like blase, blase. And we had started talking on the bus, like on some cool shit, because I had sat next to her. So at that point, I'm just like, okay, Selena's cool people, like, whatever. And then over time, like, we played basketball together. We had, like, I think a class or two freshman year. We just became super close. Like, I'm talking about, like, we just hung out all the fucking time. Like, I just remember going to her house. But this is how it happened. We ended up going to Sadie's together, me and her. And our first time we ever hung out, like, her mom took us to the mall to get our Sadie's outfit. And then after that, it was just, like, could not be fucking like separated. Like, I'm talking about, like, ate lunch together, went to each other's houses all the time, went to the games together, like football game, or no, not football games. I don't know, we just did hella shit together. We did football games together sophomore year. But we just would do hella shit together. Like, if I needed a ride to the game, or if she needed a ride home, or like just be at school together. Like, I have a fucking video of me like kissing this bitch in like fashion class. Like, this was like my home skillet biscuit. Now, what's important to note about, I almost said this bitch's name. What's important to note about Selena was when I first met her, Selena did not have like a lot of confidence in herself, which is like normal. We're 14 years old. Now, at that time, I was extremely confident in myself because I had lost so much weight going into my freshman year, and I was like a hot shit, in my opinion. I was being so stupid. I was fucking with hella boys. I think I was dabbling into girls, or like just getting the idea that I liked girls. I was talking to older boys, so I thought I was hot shit. So my freshman year, my confidence was on Tensington, bitch. My confidence was on Tensington. So, and that is one thing I noticed about Selena, and that is one thing I want to warn you guys about. You do not, I don't care what nobody says, like, you want to take a bitch under your wing, cool, go you. But you cannot be friends with bitches who are not confident in themselves. You just cannot. Like, I don't care what nobody says. Bitches who hate themselves will snake you in a fucking minute. Been there, done that. So, bitches who hate themselves will snake you in a fucking minute, bitch. So anyways, but at this point, this is still my home skillet biscuit. Like, we're still cool. Now, I think freshman year, I don't know, we were on and off with our friendship, like, as if we were fucking dating. I think freshman year, we might have, like, stopped talking for, like, I don't know, maybe like a month. I'm trying to think. Yeah. Freshman year, we stopped talking for maybe like a fucking month. I don't know why, but it was definitely her fault. Like, she was just a bitch sometimes. So we stopped talking for like a month or whatever. And then she had texted me on Snapchat one day, like, hey, I miss you, blase, blase. And then we got back cool. Like, nothing ever happened. Like, we just fell back into our normal routine of always hanging out, going hard for my bitch, like, whatever. Now, sophomore year, we were cool the whole entire summer. Like, I fucked with this boy, she, like, fucked with his cousin, like, the whole summer. We were together, like, almost every day during summertime. So, sophomore year comes, we're cool in the beginning of the school year. She ends up playing basketball, I end up not playing basketball, so it kind of, like, you know, you kind of start spreading apart from there, but it wasn't, like, bad. Like, we were still hanging out all the time. She just had to go to basketball, and I would go to her games, whatever. So because she was doing that, I met this other girl in my math class. Let's give her a name. We're going to call her Kelly. So I met Kelly in my math class. Me and Kelly ended up getting super fucking close, like close. And Kelly's best friend ended up hating me. So then her and her best friend stopped talking. And then Selena, I don't know what the fuck happened with Selena, but Selena had started smoking weed. And this is, if you go back to the first person I ever smoked like weed with, or like my first time smoking a wax pen or something, she's also in the story because I smoked a wax pen for the first time with her. So she started smoking hella. And I remember one day she had went after, sorry, one of my phones just dropped. She had went after school to go buy a cart from her plug, or one of her plugs at the time, whatever. So I had went with her, and her uncle was going to take me home from school because I used to walk home because my house was only like a 20-minute walk, but I hated walking. I fucking hated walking home because it was so hot all the time because I live in Vegas. So we go to get her fucking cart, and previously when we had smoked a cart and we like went somewhere, she sat on her cart and it broke, and she pulled it out and her thumb started bleeding, like gushing blood everywhere. That's important to note. Oh my God. I need to think about that night and remember what story so I can tell that story, because I don't even know what the fuck we did that night. Aw, memories. But anyway, so I tell her like, oh, when we get in the car, don't sit on your cart, like put it in your front pocket. This bitch like turned around and was like, I know, or something like that. And I said, okay, well, I was just telling you because last time you sat on your cart and you broke it. And she just starts popping it at the mouth like, my uncle doesn't have to give you a ride home, da da da. Like, as if I was gonna beg and be like, no, please. I said, okay, I don't care, bitch, like, what? So she ends up, like, walking off. I'm pretty sure this, I can't say his name. We're gonna call him Calvin. Pretty sure this boy named Calvin, who used to take me home if I needed a ride, because he had a really big crush on me. I'm pretty sure Calvin ended up taking me home that day. Like, it was nothing, baby. It was nothing. If I didn't want to walk, I was gonna find a ride home. It was nothing. So, Calvin ended up taking me home, whatever. She texts me later. She's like, hey, I just want to apologize for how I acted, blase, blase. And I'm like, you're good. Don't fucking talk to me like that again, like, you whatever. So we move on from that. Then one day I have, I need to give this bitch a name. There's so many names. Anna. I have a bitch named, wait, no, not, if you're watching this and you went to school with me, not that Anna. This is a fake name. Not Anna, you know whose sister. This is a fake name. Okay, so, sorry. I had this bitch named Anna come up to me and be like, hey, are you and Selena still friends? This is like after all those incidents. I'm like, yeah, why? Like, at this point, that was still my home skillet biscuit. Like, this was still my bitch. Like, I had grown a little closer to Kelly, of course, but, like, I thought me and Selena were still, like, cool. She's like, well, because Anna's like, well, I was just in science class, and I heard Selena talking about you, like, bad. I'm like, what'd she say? She's like, I don't know, something about like your spam post. And my most recent spam post was like, I hate when I feel like I'm not pretty because I'm so pretty. Like, you know, like I hate, even I feel like that's to this day, like I hate when I feel not beautiful, because I know to a lot of outside people, like I am beautiful. So that I hate when I can't recognize my own beauty was basically like the fucking post. I guess Selena read that and was talking to the person next to her. I was like, she has such a big head. Like, she's not even that cute. I was like, what? So I asked Anna, like, are you sure that's what you heard? And Anna's like, yes, that's exactly what I heard. And I was like, oh, bitch, like, you've lost your fucking mind. So I text Selena, and I'm like, you're in class fucking talking about me, saying that I'm not that cute and I have a big head. I was like, how dare you? Like, I was just like, bitch, are you fucking crazy? And she's like, yeah, I did say that. Like, I'm sorry. I just did it, whatever. I didn't text her back. So then the next day, I get a text message at like 6 o'clock in the morning before school, be like, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know why I said that. Didn't text her back. Like, bitch, fuck you. So at that point, I just grow really close to Kelly, and me and Kelly end up like becoming best friends for probably like 6 months until that. Anyway, so moving on. So I don't talk to Selena for probably like until junior year. So I want to say this probably happened in maybe like March of sophomore year. I didn't talk to Selena again until maybe December of our junior year. So not for months to go past, I didn't talk to Selena again. And I only talked to her again because I was getting snap memories of us, and so was she. And so one of our mutual friends ended up being like, oh, Selena, text Jordan, and she texted me, and we got back cool again. And it kind of went back to like really close, really fast, like eating lunch together. Like, it wasn't like that at first, but then it got like super close, super fast. So then like I mentioned earlier, Selena was not a super confident like person. She didn't have like a lot of luck with boys in our beginning of like high school. And then if you look at me, like I had a lot of like boyfriends or girlfriends. Like I always was talking to somebody new. Like I was always doing that. So come junior year, Selena gets her first boyfriend. And I'm like, you know, I was happy for her when she described it, but I didn't even know they started dating. Like she just told me she had met this dude on Snapchat. One day he came over, then they were boyfriend and girlfriend. And I was just like, that was really fast, but like I'm happy for you. Until I noticed like Selena started making time for nobody but this dude. Oh my God. Did I pick those off in the middle of the night? Sorry, guys. Anyway, Selena started making time for nobody but this dude, and I felt some kind of way because I'm like, we've been friends for like 3 years. I've had multiple boyfriends, girlfriends, situationships, and I've always made time for you. Like, that's just really weird to me. I'm just like not the kind of person who will put my boyfriend, because I have a boyfriend right now. I'm not the kind of person who's gonna put my boyfriend before everybody else in my life, because at the end of the day, I love him, he's cool or whatever, but we can break up at any moment. And then I'm not gonna have my girls because I cut all those bitches off for my dude. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me, and it never has. So I noticed that, and I said something about it, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make time for you, da-da-da. Her boyfriend ended, I'm not gonna tell like that whole like spiel, because honestly that's her business to tell if she ever wants to tell that one day. He was fucking insane though. I'll just leave it at that. He was just crazy, and I just did not like him. And so one day, me and Selena were finally like, oh, you know what, we're gonna have a sleepover. We haven't hung out in probably like a month or two, so we're gonna have a sleepover. We're at our sleepover. She starts hearing a knock at like 9 o'clock on her bathroom door. Or not her bathroom door, her bathroom window. It's her fucking boyfriend. And I'm like, okay, I guess. So he like comes in. There he was, to me, extremely odd. I was like, he just made me really uncomfortable. Like, he was odd. And I remember going to talk to her mom about it the next day and being like, and she was like, I know. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know what's wrong with him. So, anyway, they end up doing whatever they're doing, and I'm telling her, like, you know, friend, I don't see this one working out for you. If I'm being honest, like, I love you, but he is just not, like, he's gonna bring you down with him because he just had some issues. So she's like, yeah, I know. And finally, one day she called me and she's like, hey, I broke up with him. Like, he just wasn't it for me. This was probably like 3 months or like 4 months later. And, you know, I'm like, I'm here for you, because this was like her first real heartbreak. Like, she had talked to other people before, but she had never been in a relationship and been in love with somebody. So I'm like, you know what, I'm here for you, because I know this shit is rough. Because I thought my first heartbreak was, because I thought I loved this dude. Bitch, I was sick for months. So I'm like, you know what, excuse me. I'm like, I'm here for you. Like, I'm so sorry this happened, blase, blase. So she's like, thank you, I appreciate you, blah, blah, blah. We're moving on. So then we're good. We're already in our senior year at that point, because she started dating him our senior year, I think, or like the summer or something. So we're into our senior year. We both end up working a job together. You know, it's cool. We're close. And for me, personally, the best version of her is when she's not with somebody. Because when she has a boyfriend, she forgets about everybody else in the world. That's just my personal opinion. Maybe it's because I've known her since we were 14. But the best version of Selena was when she's focused on herself. That is just my personal opinion, because she doesn't know how to coexist in a relationship. And I did tell her that. I'm like, you don't know how to coexist. Like, once you get a relationship, it becomes your whole life. And I understand when you love somebody, because I love my boyfriend so much. And that is a part of my life right now, but it's not my whole identity, and it's not like my whole life. You know what I mean? So, what are we moving on to? Oh yeah. So then we end up working together, and then we kind of stopped being super close, and I was kind of falling into like a deeper depression. She started hanging out with other friends, whatever, you know, it happens, but we're still working together. And I remember one day she just told me, like, I have a boyfriend, and I was like, what? Because we worked together all the time, and she had never told me anything about this. She's like, yeah, I have a boyfriend, his name is Barney, whatever the fuck her boyfriend's name is. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool, great to know. But she starts telling me stuff about Barney, and as she's telling me about him, I'm like, you know, I'm happy for you. In my head, I have reservations about it, because, you know, this was one of my closest friends at one point, and I obviously just want the best for her. But yeah, she ends up dating Barney, and the same situation happens as the last boyfriend, just makes no time for other people. And I'm just like, you know what, I can't do this. Because one day I asked her, I was like really into like trying to start to do nails. Like, I was really into it. So I'm like, hey, can you come over Saturday morning for a few hours so I can practice acrylics on you? She's like, yeah. Saturday morning comes, she's like, how long do you need me to stay? I'm like, I don't know, maybe like 2 hours, 3 hours, I don't know. She's like, oh, I don't know if I could do it today. I said, are you blowing me off to go hang out with Barney? She's like, I'm so sorry. This bitch blew me off to go to the fucking mall. You could have went to the mall when I was done, bitch. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. You would be leaving my house by 1. Like, I didn't understand. So I was like, you know what? I cannot be friends with you. And it's another thing. You cannot be friends with people whose boyfriend is their whole, like, world, who men are their whole life. Like, you just can't be. Like, you just can't. So I was like, you know what? I can't do this. I'm sorry. Blah, blah, blah. A few months later go by, and I'm like, you know what? I miss my friend. So I text her, I'm like, hey, I'm sorry for how I acted about you and blank. Like, I understand that's your boyfriend. That's who makes you happy. I was like, it's just weird to me because, like, we've been friends for so long. She's like, yeah, I know. I'm sorry, too. We end up hanging out again. But it was just never the same. And then recently we just stopped talking in general because it was just never the same. And then now that I haven't talked to her in, like, months, it just is like, okay, you know, she did a lot of things that would just was not, like, a good friend. I remember telling her one time, like, I'm a great friend to you and you're an okay friend to me. Or, like, I've always been a better friend to you than you have been to me. And I remember that, like, hurt her feelings, but, like, that was the truth. Like, I had always been a better friend to her than she had been to me. And it sucked, but that's just, like, usually how friendships go. Somebody's always the better friend unless you actually find a good-ass friend. But, yeah, that is the story of how I found out my best friend basically secretly hated me. So yeah, guys, and at the end of the day, we just grew apart, and that's fine because that's normal for friendships, but there was just a lot of stuff in the beginning that this bitch just was tripping on. So yeah, but let me know if you guys like this story time. If you guys want more story times, I do have more stories with her. So yeah, bye guys.